All right, so let's get into IA 201, motors and controls, chapter 3 review. Test instruments are your primary test instrument that we use in our labs is going to be your multimeter. It's got multiple functions, volts, current, continuity, resistance, and more. And it's going to be your primary tool. So this chapter focuses on these as if they're separate devices, but in many cases, they are the same device. In some industrial environments, we do have some specialized tools. Each one of them is going to require that you read through the manual of that tool or download a video instructively on that tool. But the concept is overall, basic tools, keep them safe, keep them in good repair. If you have a tool that's not working properly, then it's going to be very dangerous for you. So the first part of the chapter just takes you through some basic tool handling do's and don'ts, takes you through the concept of 5S, which is keep your workplace neat, and the organization system, all good stuff. The book also goes through your general use test instruments and doesn't really call out a multimeter. It calls out somewhat more antiquated test equipment, but these are still out there, so they're useful. Continuity tester tests between that if one point is connected to another point, and we have that same function in all multimeters today. Voltage testers, the same thing. We do have old-fashioned voltage testers, especially for very high voltage or dangerous situations. We also use voltmeters built into our multimeter. We've got generic receptacle testers. We've got a lot of different things. This book is showing you the old-fashioned version of these, like the analog multimeter. They're out there. They're antiquated. They still are out there for some particular specialized purposes, but for the most part, we don't use them anymore. What we do use is this guy right here on page 67, the digital multimeter. Each digital multimeter is going to be slightly different. You're going to have to learn how to turn it on to the right setting to get the function you need, and then click on the right range or selection feature to get it to work properly for what you're trying to do. Each of them are a little bit different. We also have fancier multimeters with some graphing capability. They are becoming cheaper and cheaper. In fact, I bought one last year that cost me all of about $40, and it works. It's actually kind of an oscilloscope, so it shows me what your real-time voltage looks like. So the book just takes you through a variety of these categories, talks about the attachments. We're going to do all this in person for the in-person labs. I'm going to take you through a couple of the multimeters that we've got in class and how to use them properly. And talks about some basic troubleshooting. Read through these troubleshooting. Let me highlight this. Troubleshooting fuses. Very useful bit of information here. Talks about ghost voltages, talks about ground problems. This section of the book is very useful, 74, 75, and 76. Talks about how to do inline current measurements. In order for you to measure current, that water has to flow through your multimeter. That means the electricity has to flow through your multimeter. You can't just measure from 2 points on a circuit. You have to have that circuit flowing through the multimeter. But guess what? If you have too much current flowing, it's going to blow your multimeter. You have to have your multimeter settings set up and use the right connections so that the current flowing through the multimeter isn't too much for the multimeter, which is why we have clamp-on ammeters. A clamp-on current meter lets you clamp on a wire and detect the flow through that wire. Usually only used for AC circuits. So that's a very important device to have in most industrial settings. It means you don't have to have electricity flowing through the multimeter. It means you can clamp around it quick and easy. And then the book takes you through some specialty test equipment, including oscilloscopes and other specialty testers, including an infrared sensor. We're going to get into the sensors class on that, help you understand where something might be heating up. Sometimes heat's a good indication that you've got a problem. So that's all I want to go through in chapter